Hello, it's Mr.Westra here with Half Brother number 31, Part 2. As the afternoon went on, the sounds changed. Different bugs, different animals, and birds scuffling around. Things could sound really big in the undergrowth. Two tiny birds sounded like cougars and scared Zan and me half to death. We ate some food and had some quiet time, grooming each other and signing. Darkness was coming on, and even though it was summer, it started to cool off. Probably I should have bought more blankets. I'd ask Tim for some tomorrow. I'd make a list, and gradually I'd get everything right. We'd be all set up. Night came faster in the forest because of all the trees. We had a little more food and some water from the creek, and then Zan arranged his blanket in his nest, and we cuddled up together at the base of the tree. It was really, really uncomfortable. There were mosquitoes. I whispered stories to Zan. I told him the story of our day like I used to. It got darker still, until I could barely see. It was cold. I was cold. Even with Zan smushed against me, I wished I'd brought my own blanket. I hadn't thought to bring a flashlight either. More things for the list. After a while, I couldn't see anything. I wondered if Zan could. We clung to each other. I think Zan was as terrified as I was. All through that night, we woke up and listened to the noises. I had no idea what kind of animals made those noises. You could get all sorts of things around here. Snakes, black widow spiders. A cougar had been sighted once, and I remembered that. I lay there and felt desperate. What the hell was I doing? We couldn't stay out here forever. I wasn't Tarzan. Slowly the light came back on. I was exhausted, with Zan asleep in my arms. With the dawn, my confidence returned a bit. Maybe we could do this after all. We ate. We drank from the stream. I didn't even bother to change Zan's diaper, just took it off. He didn't want pants or a shirt on either. We climbed trees. I marveled at how fast and easy it was for him. I was in his world now. He was the dominant species, and I lagged behind. I couldn't go as high as him. I didn't know where to grip and pull. My arms and legs, my toes and fingers were feeble compared to his. I tried to see the forest as he saw it, hear it as he heard it, but I couldn't. Chimps were our closest living relatives, and I could often guess what he was thinking, but sometimes he was half brother, half stranger to me. Mid-morning came, and we heard new sounds. Zan caught them before I did. He gave a series of low pants, regular cracklings, footfalls, and then human voices. Tim had said nobody came out here. My bike was laid flat under a screen of branches, my knapsack too. I took Zan's hand and led him behind a big tree. There was laughter, a shout, and then a bang, which made both of us jerk. A second bang, more laughter. Quiet, I signed to Zan. I peered around the trunk and saw 3 kids. It took me a moment to recognize Mike. He and his 2 friends were taking turns with a gun, shooting at squirrels and stuff. It was a BB gun, like the one Tim had. "There's the little bugger," said Mike, and he took a shot at something. I hoped they would just wander off, but they were coming closer. Zan gave several hoots of fear. "What's that?" one of the kids said. "Over there." I held Zan's hand. He hooted louder. I was afraid they might start shooting at us, so I said, in as low and manly a voice as possible, "Just some people hanging out over here, man." Maybe they'd think I was a creepy, dangerous hippie drifter and get all freaked out. "Come on," I heard one of Mike's friends mutter to him, like he wanted to get going. But I heard footsteps coming closer, and then Mike walked around our tree, giving it a wide berth, the gun crooked under his arm. He stared at us. "Look at this," he crowed. "It's Chimp Boy and his chimp." The other 2 cautiously emerged from around the tree. Zan curled back his lips with displeasure and gave a warning hoot. Looks like little Ben's gone native," said Mike. "Just leave us alone, Mike," I said. I was scared, but I tried not to show it. "Your dad's not around to save your ass this time." He still had the gun pointed in our general direction. He shouldn't have stepped closer, but he did. If he thought Zan would forget being hit by a rock, he was wrong. Chimps had long memories. They carried grudges. They were just like us. Loyal, too. Zan saw Mike take another step towards me, and he stood on both legs and displayed. All his hair stood out, all 2 inches of it, and he shrieked and struck the air with his long, powerful arms. I saw the fear on Mike's face as he took a step back. "Better beat it, Mike," I said. "He's strong." I said Zan's name several times and told him to come. But he wouldn't come. He stood there between me and Mike, showing his teeth. All right, said Mike, and he quietly lowered his gun so the muzzle pointed earthwards. He took a step backwards and, as a parting gesture, snarled at Zan. Zan leapt at him. I didn't know what made Zan do it. Maybe it was the snarl, maybe the gun reminded him of the cattle prod. But he threw himself at Mike, knocked him over, and bit his foot right through his sneaker. Mike cursed and screamed. I saw blood. Zan tried to bite him again. I ran forward, snatched the BB gun, and whipped it into the trees. Zan, I shouted, stop! I pulled at all his muscle in fury, and I knew I couldn't stop him. Not if he didn't want to stop himself. Then he spun at me, and his eyes blazed with a pure animal rage I'd never seen before. I was afraid he might actually bite me. But instead he whimpered and jumped into my arms. You are so frickin' dead, shouted Mike. His eyes looked crazy as he staggered up. I whirled and ran towards the tree with many low branches. Up, I signed to Zan. Climb. He climbed and I climbed after him. I glanced back to see Mike looking around for his gun. Where is it? He shouted at his two stunned friends. Get that frickin' gun! Zan climbed fast and high. Even at that moment, I marveled at him. I didn't dare look down. I heard the crack of the gun, then a second crack, and felt a searing pain in my bum. I swore. Yeah, shouted Mike from below. More of that coming your way. I tried to climb around to the other side of the tree, where the branches were bushier, but they were also further apart, and they slowed me down. I heard a few more shots, but they missed. I was hoping Mike couldn't get clear aim anymore. I glanced up and saw Zan, crouched on the branch above me, giving me encouraging pant hoots. I reached up to his branch and got a good grip with both hands, then started looking for a foothold. The crack of the gun and the pain in my bare right arm came at the same moment. It hurt so bad that my right hand lost its strength and slipped. I dangled, my left hand holding on, but I could feel its power failing. Zan grabbed my left hand. He held me in place, and his grip was so tight I felt my fingers breaking, actually breaking, and I screamed in agony, screamed for him to let go, even though I knew I'd fall if he did. But he didn't. He held me tight. He pulled with all the might of his little body. With my right hand, I flailed around for a hold and finally found one. Zan helped pull me up onto his branch. I looked at my hand and retched in pain and disgust. It looked like a weird, swollen red and purple glove. The fingers bent at odd angles. I cried. I couldn't help it. I'd never known such pain. Zan was looking at it too, and stroking it in my arm and signing, sorry, hurt. The hell are you doing? Someone shouted from below. Through the branches, I saw Tim Borden approach Mike. Mike let his gun drop a little. Just a few pot shots, said Mike. Tim, I called down to him. Ben, is Zan up there too? Are you guys okay? My hand's busted. I saw Tim turn on Mike. You freaking nutcase. He snatched the gun from Mike's hand and pointed it at him. Get going before I load your ass. Take it easy, said Mike, backing off. No big deal. Go, shouted Tim. With his two friends, Mike hurried off. You need help getting down? Said Tim. Maybe. He hid the gun under some brush and climbed up. We sat there together for a while. I saw Tim look at my hand and then look away without saying anything. I didn't feel too good. I felt like if I moved my hand, I'd puke. You were on the news last night, Tim said. The National. Boy disappears with pet chimp. People are looking for you. They had this one guy calling you a fugitive from justice. He chuckled. Dr. Helson? He nodded. Tall and thin, like those crazy trading sergeants in the movies? Sounds like him, I said. You're in the morning paper too, Tim said. Everyone feels sorry for you and Zan. You're sort of a hero. The throbbing in my hand was getting deeper and meaner. I think I better get home, I said. I felt about 6 years old. Together, Tim and Zan helped me down from the tree. It took a while, and then there was the long walk through the woods. We left the knapsack and the bikes. When we reached the parking lot, there was a payphone, and Tim called my house. They're coming to pick you guys up right away, he said after he hung up, and then we just sat down and waited.